Hola amigos, ¿qué tal? It's Jordan here from Spain Speaks with another update on the current situation here in Spain. I think it's day 89, but to be honest, I'm not 100% sure. Yesterday I think was 88, today 89. So we're heading up to day number 90. Wow, nearly 3 months of this. Lots of feedback on the last video related to masks again, and of course relating to the problem that British people are going to have to visit Spain this year. However, I do have an update on that, and it is that there are talks underway for the British to be able to come to this country this year on holiday, which is something that I know that lots of people are hoping to do. And why wouldn't you? You want to get down here to Spain, get a bit of sun on your back, go for a swim in the nice Mediterranean Sea if that's where you're planning to go, to just enjoy your holidays after a long year and a difficult 3 months, which I'm sure that it has been for a lot of people around the world, not only in Europe. And I see that Australia is also talking about opening its internal borders again. No talk about its external borders. I know the federal government is trying to push the states to open those internal borders because they got to get that business up and running as soon as possible. And of course, travel between states fundamental to getting the economy up and running again. But the states, or at least some states, Western Australia in particular, seem to be a little bit reluctant to open the borders again. And it's surprising considering how few cases there have been in Australia. The lockdown in Australia, or the restrictions in Australia, have been really strict. Obviously there wasn't a lockdown like we had here where we were confined to our homes for 2.5 months. There was a little bit more freedom to get out, but from a business point of view, Australia has been very strict. As I said, considering the amount of cases that they have in comparison with Spain or the States or the UK. Now I'm on my way to do a bit of shopping, but we'll also go for a drive around the industrial area to see if there's any more activity than recent weeks. Of course, we're now in phase 2, which means that a lot of businesses have been able to open up. You can see there's a lot more traffic around the place now than there has been. So the economy's slowly trying to get on track, but it's not going to be easy. Driving schools are allowed to start again, and we can see one here. It's about 1/2 metre over the line there, so that's not good. Now, a lot of talk here in Spain at the moment about what the government's doing, whether they have the situation under control. One of the former prime ministers, Mr. Felipe González, who was one of the first democratic presidents in this country after Franco, has come out and said that the government resembles more of a Marx Brothers show at the moment than a serious government. Apparently he's very anti-Pablo Iglesias, who's the deputy prime minister, and basically saying that it's farcical what's going on at the moment when the country should be trying to rebuild the economy and not fighting as it is. And he was also very critical of ruling by decree, which is what's been going on here for the last 3 months. And if you look up on the internet rule by decree, you'll see some of the countries where that is quite common, and the one that really sticks out is Venezuela. Now, there are some people around the place saying that Spain is heading towards a Venezuelan type situation. I don't necessarily agree with that, although there are people in the government that would like that to happen, or at least that was their point of view a few years ago. I don't know whether they've changed their stripes or not, and we've all seen how Venezuela's ended up. But I've got faith in the European Union that Spain won't end up like Venezuela or some other countries that are a little bit out of control at the moment. Hopefully Spain won't end up like that. But as I said, if some politicians had their way, they would definitely push for a more left-wing regime here than we currently have. And we'll go for a drive through the industrial area, as I said, and we'll check out what's going on there. See if there's any differences from last week's. I think there should be. I think there should be more activity, more things, more people out and about than there have been. Another thing that caught my attention today was the famous COVID tax. A lot of people complaining that they're being slapped with extra charges on their bills, sometimes up to 60 euros for some cases. Obviously not in restaurants and things like that. But people are asking themselves whether it's legal, whether these businesses can slap a tax or an extra cost on top of the bill to recover the money that they've lost in the last 3 months. And from what I can understand, it's not illegal. It's not illegal for businesses to do that. So we're just going to have to put up with it for the time being, I would say, because these extra costs always come back to the consumer. If a business has to remodel its premises, put up these plastic screens, provide free masks, hand gel, all of these extra things that they're going to have to do from now on, they're going to look to obviously pass that cost on to the consumer, and that's where the debate is at the moment. I don't think the big organisations are going to do it. I don't think the Carrefours or the big supermarkets are going to do it, places like that. But the smaller businesses that have lost money and trying to get back those extra expenses that they have been forced to pay in order to deal with this new normal. Now I'm heading off now for my weekly shop, and that's something that's changed in my life at least. I used to go to the supermarket 2 or 3 times a week before. Now I try to limit it to once a week. Just try to keep out of places where there's a lot of people, because as you probably know by now, I'm not a big fan of wearing masks, and if I can avoid it, staying at home basically is the only way that you can avoid it in a closed space. So I prefer to do that, or get something delivered online. You can find a supermarket that can deliver online. It's working better than it was 2 months ago, I will say. You can now put in an order on a Carrefour online, or Amazon, of course, have always worked, and there are other supermarkets that are now offering online services. We can see a few more cars around here than last week, but again, not a great deal more. Oh, here we go. Here there's a few more here. So these businesses slowly getting back into action here. Now that people can, of course, buy more freely than they could 2 weeks ago when we were still in that phase 0 or phase 1. So yeah, supermarkets, only once a week for me nowadays. I'll go down the street here. We'll check out what's happening here. Yeah, so trying to limit it to about once a week. I normally go to this bigger supermarket here for that shop, because I can find things that I can't find in smaller supermarkets, and it kills 2 birds with 1 stone, which is handy. So coming up to that now. So I'll start the sign off. A lot more activity around here. Let us know how your phase stage is going wherever you are in the world. Let us know if things are starting to open up again, if the economy is starting to get back to some type of normal. People are out and about spending money, and what you think the economy is going to look like in the next 6 months. So as we saw yesterday, high unemployment forecast here in Spain, up to 23-24%, maybe more. And of course the economy, if things stay the same, will crash by about 11 or 12%, I think they said, and possibly 15 or 16 if we get a second wave of this pandemic. So hopefully that won't happen. Questions or comments, please leave them in the section below. Give the video a thumbs up if you liked it. I'll see you in the next one. Hasta luego.